So just go for this. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm not pretty enough to be front-facing today. Let's see, what else do we have? Those two. Could do another one. Actually, you know what? It doesn't even have to be that. I'm sorry I'm sitting here talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. This would actually be, you know what? This would actually be a really nice Mother's Day card as well. So let me grab my tulips. Since I think this is the only one I have that says Happy Mother's Day. There has to be another one I have. I know I have another one, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, you could use this for either, what we're going to do today. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Fine Art Floral DSP that I'm going to use. I will mix that with the tulips. Well, I should say with the Happy Mother's Day. I think it'll be really nice with that. And then I have a couple pieces left over still from, I don't know which side I'd want to use. I think this one might look a little fancier. Maybe this and this. I have a couple pieces left over from the Well Suited Designer Series paper. And I have Handsomely Suited because I figured you could do Happy Father's Day for that. So we're still kind of on that roll of Mother's and Father's Day cards. And then I also have out the Gilded Leafing, which is going to fancy it up a little bit, and my tear and tape. Just as a note, our tear and tape is one size. I believe this is, I cannot find my little tiny ruler. I don't know where it ran away to, but I believe this is 1/4 inch. I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1/4 inch. Now, you may be familiar with some other companies that make tear and tape. So if you wanted this to be adapted to a thicker or a smaller line, you'll see once we actually do it, you could use something different. I really like this thin one when you're assembling little things, but once you see it, you'll understand, which I think this will be perfect for it. But just in case maybe you either have some different double-sided tape, double-sided adhesive of any kind is really what we're doing. And I think, I'm trying to think, I might do just a little bit something different. I might use the stitch nested, so I just have to roll my die cutter over here. And then we can get started. So not too much longer until the catalog goes live. So May the 4th, this goes live. There is an amazing promotion coming up. If you would like to join my team, I would love to have you. It starts May 4th and it runs through the 31st. And instead of the normal $125 for $99, it's $155 for $99, which is awesome. So if you are new to Stampin' Up, or maybe you just really want to get a lot of stuff and this is better in your budget, it is a great way to get more bang for your buck. It does ship for free. I will post some more information about it on my blog. I'll try to post that tomorrow. We have a virtual day tomorrow, so that's kind of like a double yay. It's a yay, and I don't want to say it's a nay. It's not really a nay, but Rainbow Stamper doesn't really love doing virtual days. But anyway, can't wait till I can show you the inside of this. I haven't been really using a lot of the new stuff yet because I don't have too much stuff. I actually have something coming tomorrow, I believe. But this is a really difficult time. I know I said this before, between the new and the old, and I always feel very torn. I don't know what to use. I don't like that feeling of things are gone and you don't know if you should or shouldn't use them. Do people still have them? Is it orderable? I don't even know. It's so much. So much. But anyway, let me see. Oh, there's lots of people here to join me today. Thank you all so much. Wanda and Cindy and Kelly, and I believe that's Donna, Marlene, Linda, Cindy, Colleen, hey girl, and Kathy and Skeeter and Penny and Janet and Kay and Amy. Hey Amy. And lots of my downline here today. So thank you guys for joining me. Diana, thank you guys for joining. So what we're going to do, this is a pretty simple card. Now, we all know how much I love Rococo Rose, but this actually might be able to help me use up a little bit of my stash because I'm not sure if it's Rococo Rose in this Fine Art Floral, but it kind of looks like it almost could be. You could also use navy, but if we were going to do a Mother's Day card, I think we should pick something pretty. So we'll do that one second. We'll do the the Father's Day version first. So I'm going to go with, I'm trying to think which one I like better. We're going to do this one. So you could use the check, but we're going to use the stripes. Hopefully that's big enough. This one would make a really cool card too. So once you see it, I think you'll really like it. This idea I saw on a holiday card, and I thought it was really, really genius. And I'm actually really looking forward to making it on a holiday card because I think it'll be super cool. So I'm really excited for when the catalog goes live. And I know this sounds crazy because we're just rolling into spring, but God, I love Christmas. So I want to try to make some Christmas cards early this year. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. So what I want to do is I'm going to trim this down to, what did I say I wanted to go? I think 5. Let's see. Hold on one sec, because I'm trying to think of the measurements. I just looked at the card. I didn't really, totally take it in. So if we score at 4 1/4, I didn't read it, the measurements. That's what I should say. And we cut it 5 1/2. So we have a half of a card here. So I want it, so this way is good, but I think I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. I originally thought maybe 5, but I think, so 5 1/2 will give us a 1/4 on each side of space, and then I want another 1/4 and a 1/4. All right, so I'm going to cut it to 4 1/2. Okay, so, excuse me, this DSP is 4 1/2 by 4, okay? Because it's going to sit just like this. And actually, you know what? It should be bigger because that was part of it. So hold on, scrap that. I'm going to take this back. This one I'm going to do something different with because I goofed that up. So let me go back a step because this needs to be the full length here. So this one is 4 1/4. So it's actually going to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/2 because that was kind of the key to making it look cool. You might not, I might have hyped this up now that you're like, yeah, this isn't as cool as I thought it was. Yeah, because we want it to be filling the card front from top to bottom. So that's our goal. Otherwise, it's fairly simple. I believe I have a piece of white here already. Let me just make sure this is cut to the inside so we can get that for 5 1/4. Perfect. We'll put that on the inside. And I think that's it for now. We need one other piece of white because we want to do something with our stamp. So let's do that stamp first. That way we can wait. So I'm going to do have a happy Father's Day. I'm going to get rid of the handsome. You could keep it if you want. Totally up to you. I'm going to just use a old piece of Post-it tape to just mask that handsome off there. So I'm just sticking this, sticking this on. Another way you could do it if you don't want to do it that way is you could actually use your markers and just ink it up that way, but it's fine. We can do it a different way. And we're going to stick with tone on tone on tone. We're just going to have that one little flash piece. So I'm going to do an inking in Night of Navy. I think most people probably have this stamp set. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm quite shocked that it carried over because a lot of times the Father's Day stuff doesn't carry over. So there is our sentiment. Like, do you guys remember? I still have it. The set where we had the wrenches and the hammers. Holy moly. That was a wildly popular stamp set. And they discontinued it. And that was just still, to this day, I still don't understand. But who am I? So I'm going to die cut this. I believe that is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th smallest. So we're just going to let this dry just for a moment. And I'll die cut this. You could always make this a little fancier if you wanted to. And I will show you a couple things you can do. You don't want it to be too fancy since it is a guy card. Not that guys don't appreciate fancy, but you don't want it to be like too frilly. So I think that's pretty nice just as it is. Put that back over there. We could always, oh, you know what we could do? Let's do this. This will make it a little fancy. Let's cut out a bow tie. We're going to fancy it up in a dude way. This, I think this red, along with that, might look a little fun. So I'm actually going to die cut this bow tie from here. And I'm actually, you know what? Before I do that, just to make this a little bit more exciting, I'm going to, let's see if I have some here. Of course I don't have any. Of course I don't. Here's a piece. I have a piece of the double-sided adhesive. This is something Stampin' Up! Carries. Just to make it a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be super easy, but let's see. See if this is going to fit. We'll go like that. I'm just going to pull this up. Stick this on. And that way this part will still have the release paper on it. I'm just going to grab my scissors and snip. Okay, that looks, oops, wrong thing. Pretty good. And then, so now it will already have dimension. I'm just going to die cut this, just like that. And if you wanted to actually take it one step further, you could even die cut the little oval and then lay this on top. So you would have that little top knot there, but I'm not going to take it quite that far. So we have our bow tie and it's already on a piece of foam. This piece we'll just chuck. It's just a scrap piece, so no biggie. All right, so we move this over. Okie doke. So to the card, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of estimate. Now I'm going to do my best to kind of line this up where I want it. Make sure it's somewhat even. I'm not really going for completely accurate because if you all know me, you know I'm not like that. I'm just going to take my pencil and make a pencil mark there. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to just run it as best I can. I don't want it to go over the edge here, so I'm going to start this way. That way I can roll it back need be. So I'm kind of running so this line is somewhat in the middle. Say like that. And then I'm going to try my best to make this so it's even. It's pretty even. And then same for this side. So I'm just starting here at the end. Again, trying to kind of go for having that line down the center of my double-sided tape. Okay, that looks pretty good like that. And I'm going to press. Now, I am going to turn off my fan because it is a little toasty here today. We've had 2 really, really hot days here. So this one does look a little crooked now that I'm looking at it. So that was me being wonky. I probably should have gone a little bit more straight, but we should probably be able to save it. It's going to be artsy, so we're really not going to ruin it. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. If you've never worked with this before, the Gilded Leafing, I'm just waiting for the fan to stop. The Gilded Leafing, there is a lot more in the jar than you think. Once you start opening it, it kind of fluffs out. And you do have these really large pieces, which are really nice. So I'm just going to work with one side at a time. And I do have these little hangover pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up. And then I'm going to kind of fold this back on itself. Just make sure there's none hanging over. So I'm going to take my pieces, kind of lay these down. It does come out in kind of large chunks, which is nice. Okay. Now these pieces that are up here, you can actually pull off and just piece back in. The only thing you want to do is you do want to make sure that the pieces that you put on there, that is completely covering, because you don't want any adhesive to get stuck, that it, you know, makes the card stick to your envelope or whatever. Okay. Just like that. I am glad that this Gilded Leafing is carrying over. That makes me happy. Okay. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just kind of giving it a press, making sure I didn't miss any little spot. That's a big piece. Let's see if I can find something a teeny bit smaller. Wow, really did a great job there. So I'm just trying to make sure that all of the adhesive is covered. All right, so there's one side. And then, yeah, this is definitely crooked, but that's okay. I will give this to my dad. He will love it anyway. All right, so same thing again, or my brother. My brother would totally love it. He's a very dapper fella. Okay, so I'm just piecing these in, just laying these pieces down, making sure I have all of my adhesive covered. And this is a pretty simple way to add a little bit of, I don't say flash, because it's not really a flashy card, but add a little bit of like dressing up to this. So now you can be super careful and you can recollect this. I'm going to put the lid on this for a moment. You can be super careful and you can recollect this if you want to, but I'm not really that concerned with these little bits. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Here's a little piece here that has some weird adhesive down there. Okay, so the other thing that I did, where is it? I think I talked about this before. This is a little foot scrubber brush that I swear has never been used for foot. I know I've talked about that before, but my friend gave me this. She told me that she used to use it to scrub some of her stamps before she got a Stampin' Scrub. So this really works good to get the little residual stuff off. So I kind of just go back and forth lightly. It's just rough enough. Another thing that I actually have, instead of using a foot brush, is a stipple brush. And I meant to get that out, but I forgot. So a stipple brush would be good because it's kind of just getting the edges off of where you maybe don't want the adhesive. Really, we're kind of going on the outside. The inside is going to be covered, so it doesn't matter. This is super crooked, but you know what? C'est la vie. There you go. So I'm going to take my trash can, and I have a mesh trash can, so that's not really saying much with this. And I'm going to just shake it off, like Taylor Swift said. And I'm just going to kind of collect this and scoop and do the same thing. And then I'm going to grab my handy dandy microfiber and brush that off. Okay. So now we have our piece. And you know what? I'm going to do it one more time. Just going to wipe this off so there's not a whole lot of residual pieces. You can see it's pretty clean. So then, oh, Rach, that's so crooked. It's okay. You know what? It is what it is. For the next one, I'll line it up a little bit better. It kind of makes these little white dots here look a little sparklier too. This actually should have been made by my niece because it is slightly sideways, so she would totally appreciate that. So I'm going to just take my bone folder, increase my cardstock, and if I'm worried about scraping that off, I'm just going to flip it. There we go. Okie doke. So I'm going to we're going to go with liquid. Ooh. Oh, that's ready. Happy to see me, aren't you? We're going to put some liquid adhesive. I'm trying to line this up so it kind of, even though that one's a little crooked, but just like that. And it is going to fit top to bottom. So you definitely make sure that you have enough adhesive on there. So there's that. And then we have our Happy Father's Day. And where is my little bow tie? I seem to have misplaced it. Here it is. My little bow tie. So we're going to put this on. I'm just going to glue this down. You could do dimensionals on here as well if you wanted to. We'll do Happy Father's Day. And then put our little bow tie. And one other thing you could do now that I'm looking at this, I think that looks pretty good. You could even, now this is a stretch, so this kind of depends. If you wanted to, you could even put a little bit, you could put a mini glue dot and then put a teeny bit of that gold right there as well. But pretty cute card, I think. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp that I used, and then we'll do our Mother's Day version. But I think the most fun part about this is that it doesn't really take a whole lot of really work or supplies. You could make a whole bunch of these. So instead, let's do this for the second one. I'm actually going to move this. We're going to use the grid paper and see if we can line it up just a little bit better. Oh, you know, one thing I forgot. I do want to finish the inside of that because I've been trying to do that. So let's go with, we have our, oh, hold on. You know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to bring my Stamparatus out again. Where are you, baby? And I'm going to take this extra one out. I'm going to pull this over here. And I'm going to do this, reach style. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the first one and then we're going to move it. Instead of doing the step hinge down, you can also do it a different way. So we're going to do this. So you see we have all of these markings with our, actually I should move this so it's on a top line. You have all these markings. What you can do is you can make it so you step it down with the grid paper. So I'm just going to pick up my stamp. And just in the sense of keeping it a little bit lighter, I'm going to go with Balmy Blue. But also Balmy Blue can be a little bit overwhelming if it's re-inked, and mine is pretty well inked. So I'm going to stamp my bow tie. Follow me with this one. This will be cute. I'm going to stamp it. Okay, here's one. And I'm going to move this down 3. It should be enough. Let's take a peek. Yep. It's going to be light. I'm going to move it down 3. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm doing is, and I'm just making sure that it's straight, I'm just moving this down the 3 grid boxes, which each grid box is, I believe it is a 1/4 inch. Keep going down. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Trying to line up the bottom. I'm not going to re-ink that one. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, we're going to have to estimate that one. 3. Hold on. Where were we? We're here. So I'm going to count here from the top. 1, 2, 3. Because when you get too far to the bottom of your paper down here at the bottom, you kind of lose your grid lines on the bottom. So we'll go with the top. And that's kind of enough. So let's do that. And let us grab some Night of Navy. And what else do we have in here? That was Have a Happy Father's Day. I'm going to do To One of the World's Greatest Dads. I like that one because my brother, I think I'm going to send this to my brother. He definitely is one of the world's greatest dads. Now we could go to the trouble of relining this up again with our Stamparatus if we wanted to, but I think I'm just going to try to aim for center. Hopefully it's correct. That's pretty good. If you wanted to, you could also make it darker by re-stamping again if you did it with the Stamparatus, but I kind of like it the way it is. So we're going to keep it like that. So I'm going to pull this off, set this on the side, clean those off when I'm done. Okay. And then we will pop this onto the inside. All right, and really quickly, while we're waiting, I'm going to turn my fan back on because it's really weird because we have rain, but it's super, super, super humid. Yesterday, it was 91, and I'm not kidding you. Meanwhile, last week, we had to put our heat back on because it was so cold. So, really cute, just a little repeating pattern there. You don't like that, you could certainly do a different image. There's lots of different stuff in there that you could do. You could even do the ties, which I did one before with the ties going across, which is a great card to use with the Stamparatus. That's a really fun one to do, but super easy. So there's that one. So now we'll do our Mother's Day version, which I really like these. I didn't get anything else from the Fine Art Floral. This one is a beautiful one too. I like both of those. I kind of like this one. Maybe we could do that with Pretty Peacock. Let's do this one with Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to try to do a better job of lining it up on the front. So let's see what we can do for that. So I'm going to grab, and I know maybe you might be like, what? You said you were going to do something pretty. But you know what? I'm a mom and I love Pretty Peacock. So we're going to just stick with that. So we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. And we did by 4 1/2. And actually, I think I'm going to move it down. I'm going to go to 4 1/4, so it's a square piece, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That way we have a little bit more leeway for my lining up portion. And I already have a piece of Pretty Peacock, so this is going to go just like that. So let's see if we can make this just a smidge straighter. So I'm gonna put this, actually I'm gonna score this first. That way we have less stuff to work with. So, you were 80 yesterday, a week ago. I know, isn't that crazy, Donna? I know you guys had so much snow, and then now it's like, this weather is just cuckoo. Okay, so I'm going to set this here. I kind of have it like somewhat lined up that it's on a corner. And let's see if we can kind of get it so it's even-ish. That looks pretty good. I think that's fairly even. I'm going to go here and here. But then to make sure, what I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to get out my T-square and I'm going to see if this looks like it's nice and neat. That looks good. And that looks good. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do to try to ensure the straight accuracy. I'm going to tape this down with some Post-it tape. Okay, and I should have probably done this on a silicone mat, but you know what? We're just going to work with it. That's okay. So same thing again. I'm going to grab my tear and tape. And this time I'm actually going to put it so it is on the line directly, so I don't have any messing with accidentally doing it too far. Let's see. Do we want it inside? I'm going to go with outside. So I'm going to ride the line here with my tape. And worst case scenario, it is kind of dark. I probably should have used a white or a light marker. Okay, there's one. You could totally get precise and use your snips, but... And then same thing again. Again, we can flip those little end pieces over, so I'm not too concerned with those. Oops. And that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm giving this a press, but I'm not pressing this end piece here because I know I'm going to have to flap that over. Okay, so same thing again. Let me kill the fan. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to put, well, this should actually look really nice because it's going to be right. Is that the way we did it? I'm trying to think what way I had my white. It's going to be just a teeny bit on each side, a little teeny sliver potentially of the gilded leafing. So since this has a flap up here, I'm going to start peeling from the bottom. Okay. And anything that hangs over, you're just going to roll it on top of itself. So pretty easy to fix. Probably, again, this is now number 2 of this card I made, so it's not like I've made a lot. Probably once you make more than one, you might be able to eyeball how you like your tear and tape to be, like if you do want it to be in a little bit or out a little bit. So you might be able to adjust that slightly, because here I am really on the line, and here I mean like a hair's breadth off of the line. So same thing again. You have a rainy, ugly day in Ohio, huh? I know. Rainbow Stamper learned something new at school. His new phrase is, April changes her sweet mind every minute. And I think he's correct. Although I cannot believe that it's already going to be May in just a few short days. Time is flying. All right, so I'm just pressing this down, trying to use as much as I can. That way I don't have to dig into the jar too much. So pressing that, and then once I'm pressing, I'm just going to pull this little piecing off of the side here and take it up top. Same with this. I'm trying not to pull it so it's going to pull off, which I really don't think that it is. There we go. That looks pretty good. Just giving it a nice press. And I think the one thing about this, specifically this floral, Fine Arts Floral, I think the gilded leafing looks super pretty with it. Okay, I'm just going to move to the other side. If you guys are still looking for Mother's Day ideas, I did finally get back on the blog hopping bandwagon. Last week we did a Mother's Day blog hop. There's a lot of great ideas over there. I also shared a camouflage card the other day, and coincidentally, Tammy White has her Heroes Week, so she's making lots of cards with the well-suited. She made a firefighter card, which I think I'm going to have to make that. That didn't even dawn on me, but what a great idea. My father-in-law will love that, and Rainbow Stamper will totally love making it for him. So I think we might do that for his Father's Day card. Although he did want to give him the slimline card with the geared up garage, so maybe I'll have him do that one, and then I'll make him the firefighter card. He does always like my cards, so that's makes me feel nice. Okay, so that's pressed on pretty well. There's a couple, like if there's big pieces that are laying around, I'll try to put them back in the container. But honestly, there is so much in here. It really is way more than you think it is when you get in there. So again, I'm just pressing, and just going to use my little brush. Right here feels a little tacky, so I'm not sure if maybe I somehow have had a little glue on my finger, but it does feel a teeny bit tacky there. This would be really cool. I actually had another idea. I'm going to see if I can try it before we're done, because I think this would be super cool for something else. I'm going to try one more thing. Just to, oops, I missed a little bit. That's why, because there's a little flecking here. Okay. That a good press. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe, best I can, I'm just going to wipe this off. Hold on for 1 sec. Okie doke. There's that. I haven't vacuumed up here this week, so good excuse to bring the vacuum out. Let's see if I line this up slightly better. That looks a little better, but I wanted it to be facing at least the correct direction. I think this is just a smidgy, no, it looks pretty good. I was going to say a smidge longer, but I'm going to put this one with liquid glue because you can see there is a little bit of space. That way I can make sure that I center it really well in between there, okay? So let me just grab my liquid glue again. I'm going to try to make sure I go all the way to the edge. This is the way I wanted it. So I'm gonna kind of try to move it a little bit. That way I get that adhesive all over. It's lined up pretty well there and there. Might have a teeny bit of run over here. Oh, I should have moved it just a smidge. Oh well, it's just a little bit, even though I did that, I didn't pay attention when I did it. I have a little bit more of a line here, but still looks way better than the other one because at least this one is straight. So lining it up definitely is beneficial. That really did help. Okay, so Mother's Day. What if we bring out, I don't know if it would be better with pink. I don't really think that the Rococo would look so pretty. I kind of feel like it's terracotta, so I'm going to do that for the Happy Mother's Day. And again, I don't have any of these stamps. So you could use a leaf image if you wanted to. You could kind of run the stems through it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and do something fancy. Let's see if it works or not. I'm going to take, this is kind of an outside the box idea for you outside the box thinkers. So I'm going to take the stem, but instead of making it a stem, I'm just going to do like a little bit of a horizontal line. So I'm trying to make sure that I have it lined up somewhat well. And I'm going to stick with the pretty peacock to kind of keep the cohesion. And then I will do terracotta tile for the actual word part of the sentiment. Let's see. That looks pretty good. So I am really looking forward to being able to use some new products. So I don't want to say lose the frustration because I hate to sound like, I'm really not trying to sound like a person who is ungrateful and spoiled, but man, this time of year is so hard for me. It really, really is. Just being able to find stuff that it feels like people want to see and know what is available and all that kind of stuff. I'm just stamping this just in a line. I'm just continuing with the ink as much as I have. So I've now stamped it off 5 times, just kind of following a line. This might look dumb, but we'll see. All right, so I ended up getting 6. 6 of those. So that was just repeat stamping without re-inking. That was with Pretty Peacock. And let's see, with the terracotta tile. I'm not sure how this is going to look. So let's take a peek, and worst case scenario, if it looks horrible, we can actually stamp it off and pop it up on something else. No, that doesn't look bad at all. If you don't like it, the other thing you could do, and I'm going to show you, let's see if I can just find like a teeny scrap. Here's a little scrap. Little scrap, you could do this as well. But I'm going to stamp it full strength. I'll show you both. That way, if you like it the other way, you could do that way instead. I don't know if this will be, this might be too small. Hold on one sec. I know I have a bigger scrap. That should be slightly bigger. Okay, so you can see what I mean. All right, so I said I wanted to use this, and might go down a size because mine doesn't need to be quite this big. Let's go down to this one. We still have the pattern. So I went down 1 size, and then I'm going to show you one other thing you could do if you wanted to. I'm going to go with plain ovals because it doesn't need to be huge, and I'm going to cut this sentiment. Does it fit in there? Yep. With the smallest layering oval, not the scallop, just the regular. So I'm just going to cut these 2 things. I'm going to die cut both of these. And I'll show you both ways. That way, if you don't like it, you can go the other way. Okay. Here's this. And this. Throw those out. Okay. So, I want to put this up on dimensionals because I think it'll look nicer. And let's see, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's, I'm not going to glue this down because I don't know if I'm going to botch it. So, couple things. You could also, if you wanted to, this would take a little bit of effort, but you could put a teeny bit of liquid glue, or maybe what is the kind of glue I want to say? Something that's like a tack kind of glue, and then you could even go around it with the gilded leafing and edge this with gold. You could do that. But the other thing you can do, and I think I'm going to kind of off-center this a little bit. If you don't like the stripes, you could even put this up and pop this part up on to with the dimensional. So you could have this and this sitting above it. So if that makes sense. So that way it sticks out more from the lines. But I kind of like the lines. So it kind of depends, I guess, on what you like. So I'm going to put this down. And then the only other thing, I do want to put a white piece in here so I don't forget. So I'm going to kind of offset it like that. So again, if you don't like that, what you could do, and I'm going to put it up just so you can see it, because I could always use this for something else. So I would definitely put dimensionals there, but it'll kind of lift it up a little bit. You could put that up onto that, which kind of does look pretty. Now that I think about it, I'm going to do this anyway, because I like that, but I almost like this. But, ooh, one more thing I want to do. Hold on, before I get ahead of myself. What did I do? I put everything, since all of our stuff is kind of retiring. You know what? I moved this over, so I'm going to just have to do this for now. I put my markers, and I don't know where I put them. I put them somewhere, but I'm just going to take the edge of my oval and just kind of dip it into the Pretty Peacock just to edge it so it sticks out a little bit. That was probably not my smartest move, but And I'm just going to, and I'm going to put one more thing. If you ever are really worried about lining something up correctly and you have dimensionals, if you put a little bit of liquid glue onto the back, you can wiggle them around to where you kind of want them. Because I don't want that second Mother's Day sticking out down there. That looks good. So there you go. There's that. And there's that. And I did say I wanted to do one more because I thought this would be a cool idea. I am going to do the peacock only because I know I already have a piece of cardstock. So we're going to do this one. This will be the last one. But really quick, I'm going to keep that over there because I didn't want to forget what my thought process that I had. Have one more piece of white. And I'm going to add this to the inside for the Happy Mother's Day. What a beautiful difference one single life makes, because I think it's very pretty. I like that. And I'm going to just stick with that. I'm going to go with the same. I'm going to just stick with the terracotta. You could do something softer if you wanted to, but I'm just going to keep the same color. So I'm going to put this on the inside. That way there'll be plenty of room. And if you wanted to, one other thing you can do, I'm going to show you this because it just makes it easy, because you'll have this little piece left over. You have this little strip, right, left over from when we cut this. Somewhere it goes on here, right there. Lines up. I think it's right there. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to move this over so I don't goof it up. I'm going to take that. Now that's cut down to 4, so I do want to make sure it's cut correctly. And what does this measure? Probably about 1.5. So I'm going to measure 3/4. I'm just going to split the difference for this. I'm going to cut it. Is that 3/4? Hold on. Am I losing my mind? That's 1 3/4. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do this. 3/4 approximately. I'm just kind of putting it to where I think it is halfway. It's just slightly off. So there's that. Here's our 2 pieces. Super easy. Just finishing up a card so it looks a little bit more like you put a whole lot of effort into it, but really there's not. Put a little bit of glue. And I'm going to put this here. Just making sure that lines up. Right there. And here. Just like so. Kind of frames it. Just like that. Really pretty. Okay, so there's that. All we're going to do is put some liquid glue and add that in. Rainbow Stamper went to his favorite place and picked up Noodles and Company, so I can smell the food downstairs. It smells really good. Didn't realize I was hungry until I started smelling the food. So there's that one. Really pretty though, right? I mean, granted, you could leave that off. You could make it skinnier if you wanted to. That way you have more room to write. But I think it's a really, really pretty card. And it brings kind of the outside inside. Okay, so finally, one more, since I thought of this one as we were going. So I already creased this. So we'll go with this. So let's see what this measures. We might have to whop out one more little piece to make it fit. So we have, I believe, 4 1/4. Which way do I want to do it though? Let's see, because it might make more sense to do it this way. All right, so this measures, same thing. We have 1 7/8, so 2/8. So 3/4 of an inch plus 2/8. So it's going to be 7/8 of an inch is going to split the difference for this. So now you know what the other one was. I'm going to cut this to 5 1/2. And I think I want more of the yellow. So I'm going to trim off this more neutral end. This will be the last one. So 5 1/2. And then this is, again, 7/8 inches, not 1/8. 1 7/8. 7/8 inches. This is just the piece I have left. So I'm just basically cutting it in half. Okay, so I have that pretty well lined up. Whenever I cut DSP, this is just a little tip for you. Because the DSP is much thinner, I usually will close my lip here and I will cut it in the center going up and down, because I find a lot of times if I start at the bottom, it actually will push the paper up and kind of bunch it so it rips. So I usually start in the middle. So I'll go up and then come down. So let's see if we can make this work as how it is in my head. So we're gonna go like this. I might need to trim this just a little bit. And I might have needed to change this around a smidge, but we're gonna work with it. Let's see if we can do it. I'm gonna use my silicone mat only because I'm trying to kind of keep it lined up. So I'm just putting this at a place where I can see lines. Okay, and I'm gonna put this here to the edge. All right, I'm gonna bring out that same tape I've used over and over again. Okay, and I need one more. There it is. Let me just grab another little piece so I can kind of tape this down here. All right, what I'm going to do, again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. That, like that. Looks pretty good. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to take my tear and tape. And now since I have the silicone mat underneath, I'm going to kind of go a little bit above and a little bit below. I'm just eyeballing it, kind of going in between, not measuring. Again, just eyeballing. I'm trying to tear it at the bottom so it's even. And I'm going to have to move this one over just a little bit, this tape, so it doesn't get in my way. I'll move that to the edge. Straighten this back out. Okay, and lastly, looks about even. Okay. Now, you could probably go about this a couple ways, but trying to be safe, I'm going to take these two out. You could probably glue them down, but I'd be afraid that when I went to remove this stuff with my brush, I might mess it up. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm just pressing my tape, and I'm going to pull these off. Okay, flip that down. Just grabbing that little extra bit of adhesive. Just flipping it onto itself. Okay, that looks good. All right, now I'm going to grab my flake again. Almost kind of looks like a couple of these might be crooked, and you know what? It really just depends on how you feel about maybe trying this. This idea just kind of came to me, so it may be great. It may not. Only time will tell. Oops. Looks good. Just pressing this in. And this one, I mean, I think this will make a nice Mother's Day card. This could be kind of anything though, like a thinking of you card. Get well soon. Really anything. Because you're going to put some of this gilded leafing. People are going to really, no matter what occasion you send it for. Oops, I got my finger stuck over here. They're definitely going to think it's a fancy card. It took a lot of work. That really, I mean, honestly, you can do this very simply with this tear and tape, because you get to put the adhesive right where you want it. Kind of unlike a few of those early forays I did into this, and it was a holy mess. You guys remember a few of those videos that we did? Oh my, I remember that one that was, oh, such a fail, where I was like, all right, well, clearly I need to go back and study about this gilded leafing a little bit more, because I do not know what I'm doing here. All right, I'm just going to, again, pick up just a couple of the bigger pieces before I close this up. This stuff is kind of wafty, so if that's not really your thing, just going to give this a good press. Have a little bit more down here. I can kind of I missed a little piece, so I can take some of my flecks and just pop them into place. Just giving it a nice press. You could also do this where you put these pieces down and then after the fact, run it through your embossing folder and you would end up getting a little bit of a texture to it too, which would be kind of cool. Okay, so same thing again. Okay, let me just lift these up. I'm going to dump this in the trash and then we will do a final wipe down. See, there's a little bit more spacing, but it's okay. I'm okay with how this turns out. Might have to actually go wipe my silicone mat. I might have to bring my vacuum up just to clean this mess up a little bit better. But that's okay. There's so many things in this craft room that are crazy. This is probably the least of the things. All right, so now I'm going to just take a look and make sure I like my centering once more for this. And if I needed to, I could adjust it a little bit, but I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to put my adhesive kind of in the center. That way it's pretty thin and I can move it if I need to. Okay. Just want to make sure they're lining up. So put this like this. And if I need to trim, I can always trim a little bit. So you have your little lines. And then we'll add a sentiment lined up at the top. I think these are just a smidge too long, which is okay. No biggie. All right, so I'm gonna flip this. I mean, just a hair, the hairest hair that ever was. You probably wouldn't even notice unless you were inspecting cards. Such a little shave, little teeny piece, but that's okay. So there's that. All right, and finally, let's do Get Well Soon, because I can always use Get Well Soon. And when I send out my thank you cards, I always send one of my, I'm going to use Mango Melody. I always send one of my, usually my recent cards to people as a thank you. Let's see. I'm just going to use this side. This is just a little scrap. Trim this out of something. Why is this looking weird? Nope. Must just be my eyes. Get Well Soon. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this end straight and I'm going to flag this end. So I'm going to trim this off down here. Oops, I already smudged it. Fabulous, Rachel. Way to go. This isn't even straight. Okay, and I'm going to just trim this like this. Now I think, I almost wonder if, I think I'm going to trim this down a little bit. It's a little too wide. I'm going to trim just a smidge here. We might have to go back and readjust this. Yep. Try that again. That's why I made sure I made it long, in case I needed to fiddle with it. That's good. All right. Speaking of, I can even send this to my friend that I missed Tuesday Live with. She's doing very well, by the way. She came home same day. It was outpatient surgery. Everything looks pretty good. So I'm just going to put this one up on a dimensional, just for the heck of it. And since I have a teeny little smudge there, where I kind of mudged a little bit here, I'm going to take, and what can I use? What's a good color? I'm trying to think. I know how much Donna loves mint, and she's probably watching, but let's bring it a little bit new. I'm just going to do Soft Succulent because it's a nice green, and I think it kind of can go with that a little bit, so I'm just going to go around the edge just to try to hope to take away from my little smudge there with the orange. I think this is kind of a nice color combo, though. Soft Succulent and the Mango Melody. I'm going to need to write that down so I remember to use it in the future, because you know I'm going to come across it again and be like, that would be such, oh, that's right, I did say that, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Cindy. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, she's doing very, very well. So, oh, look how cute that is. Hopefully I don't smudge it anymore. That is absolutely adorable. I mean, that was a total spontaneous card because this is definitely not the plan I had when I started, but it looks really adorable. So let me bring these back. Let me get a little bit of this stuff out of the way so you can see what's going on here. Move my scissors and pencils, and I have to turn the fan back on because it is toasty. Okay. So we started with, look, I said in the advertisement, let's make Father's Day. And then look, well, we did a little bit, right? Kind of counts. This one was botched up. But, you know, sometimes that's how dads are, right? When they have projects that they kind of do things and they're like, that's close enough. We'll call that even. So I think those are 3 really nice cards. Also, another great use for some DSP. If you have some left over and maybe you don't know what to do with it, I think these would be some really nice ideas that anybody would love to get any of these cards. Also, maybe if you're going to be watching this after the fact and this is retired and you're like, man, I have all of that blah, blah, blah DSP and I don't know what to do with it. Well, now you have a couple ideas of what to do with it. This technique here, though, with the stripes and the paper, I think that's kind of fun because it's definitely an outside of the box use of what you normally would do with it. So I think that's kind of fun. Again, it really depends on your level of OCD. If you're not one, if you're going to be upset because the lines don't match up, might not be your project, I guess, depending on, you know, how you feel about that kind of stuff. So we'll leave that one up to eye of the beholder. I think they're really cool though, and I really like this. And I really am looking forward to trying this for some winter or Christmassy cards because I think it's really going to make the card look fancy. And I actually saw a couple other ideas too. I know that, I can't think what it's called. Is it the banner triple punch that's also retiring, or that's stick? I'm going to look in the catalog real quick. Hang tight because I know one of the other big punches is retiring, which, gosh, when those things go, it really does kind of make you sad. Only because punches are really easy to make cards with, especially as a person who is doing live videos. It's easy to like grab one. I think I am still more upset that the stitch shapes are retiring, but hang on one sec. Let me look here. Punches. Maybe the banner triple is still good. Nope. That's the other one. So you can always flag. I mean, you don't have to have that. You could do that banners pick a punch, but if we're being honest, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my triple or I'm going to do my scissors. But I hope you guys like these cards today. If you did, leave me a comment and tell me which one was your favorite. If you didn't, leave me a comment and tell me what you would rather see me do, because I'm always open to suggestions if you don't know that already. I love suggestions, ideas, your thoughts, whatever it is that you have to say. I am always here to hear it. If you would like to see a card technique or a stamp set or something else used specifically, please let me know. I'm always looking for ideas. Sometimes I kind of just am scrolling through Pinterest and I happen to find something, which is what this was, but it was with a totally different stamp set. I mean, this was from a couple of years ago and it didn't even use the gilded leafing. They used washi tape, I believe. So in case you don't have the gilded leafing, you could also do this if you have a sparkly gold washi tape. Maybe if you have one of the old ones. I don't think I have them out, but we had one that was a silver and one that was a gold. Those would be great for this. As a matter of fact, that's what that was. So I'm just going to check through super quick. The last one is your favorite. Thanks, Jewel. Thank you for telling me. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, which I know we're currently live on Facebook, but if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, I would love to hear your comments as well. If you don't already follow me over on YouTube, I would love for you to join us over there. We could always use some more followers, subscribers, likers, heart commenters, because the more people that follow me, because I'm really close to 5,000, the more people that you get, the more things that you're able to do, which I don't really know some of those things, but anyway, hopefully one day I'll find out what those are. But anyway, let's see. The little jar of gold, and you've never used it? Oh my goodness, you have to use it. It's super fun. I think the other thing that's funny is too, when you think because you look at it and you're like, even today when I was looking in the jar I'm going to be careful when I open it because of the fan. I was like, gosh, there's not much in there. But when you kind of flip it over, give it a tap and shake it around, it's kind of like every time you open it, there's still more in there. It's like almost like embossing powder. You know when you think you're almost out of it and there's still embossing powder, which always cracks me up. But thank you guys so very much for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Again, I will post the new joining special for Stampin' Up! That actually starts again on May 4th and it runs through the 31st. If you have questions, you know, let me know. I'm happy to help you. I would love to have you as part of my team. You can just be a happy discount shopper. We have lots of those. We have some people who also do videos as well. So it just depends. There is no obligation to buy anything, to sell anything, do videos, nothing. You could just shop for the discount and have fun with us, hopefully, as well. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can reach me at rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, I do have an online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Just as a quick note, when you are checking out, usually it will be in that store. It'll be on the top right-hand corner. It should be my picture or my name. So if you don't see that, you're not necessarily shopping with me. In case you think you are, and maybe you're not, because we've had some people lately that are somehow going to other people's stores inadvertently through no fault of their own. So in case you're not getting thank you cards from me, it's probably because somehow you didn't actually order through me, which is okay. Everybody orders through different people. I'm not upset by that, but some people think they're shopping with someone and they're not. And I can understand how that would be a little bit unnerving when you thought you were somewhere and you weren't. So thank you guys for joining me. If I don't see you any sooner, I will see you on Tuesday on YouTube at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.